Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe and now extremely full from the Thanksgiving Day meal. But with that said, I got another top deck for you here. We're going to cover the main board, we'll cover the sideboard, we'll talk about how to sideboard, and then we'll go play some Mythic matches in both best of 1 and best of 3. So today's top deck hails to us from the 6+ wins, Platinum to Mythic, and I'm pretty excited to try this one out because we have not played anything like it yet. So I think you're going to be in for a treat today. But before we go ahead and take a look at this deck, I just want to say thank you. As always, I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. And stay tuned for those daily video drops as well. Now, quickly, you guys can keep me honest by checking out my player profile on Untapped, and additionally I've shared the Untapped companion down below for you so you can share your journey with me as well. And then lastly, there are other ways to stay in touch down below in the description by popping in our Discord channel or becoming a patron as well. And I am running a nice little special here for all those as a kickoff for patron. If you sign up, you get a chance at winning some digital sleeves. So anyway, Planeswalkers, let's go ahead and take a look and see what deck we have today. We have, my friends, a Simic Kicker deck. Yes, I am very excited about this because a few things. One, we've done one Orzhov party deck, actually one party deck, and that was a huge output of Zendikar. So very, very excited to be trying out another Zendikar key mechanic here with the Kicker, and this time in Simic. So for those of you that don't know what Simic is, it's blue and green, essentially islands and forest to give us the Simic guild out of Ravnica, and that's how we get that piece. And then Kicker comes to us from this lovely piece here, where if we kick a spell, so you can either pay the main cost or you can kick it for the additional cost. As you cast that spell, something else is going to happen. So in this case, when Roost of the Drakes enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, we get to create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So all the spells here primarily revolve around that mechanic. The goal of this deck primarily is one, Roosted Drakes, so we can flood the board with flyers, and then two, we do have a top end creature here that deals damage, and some of our early game creatures that also build. So that is a nice route and gives us multiple options to help us take down our opponents as an objective of the deck. So it's not necessarily a quick one. It's more about some of that control with the Kicker and more of a tempo type deck. I'd say mid-rangey to even late game. With that said, Planeswalkers, the deck list is available for you down below in the description. The links are down there for you as well. We'll cover and walk through the main board here, then we'll talk about the sideboard, and like I said, then we'll talk about how to sideboard. And I got these lovely sleeves here now, which I'm super excited about. Oop, if we can ever get them. It's because it's down. Yeah, that's why. These lovely Thanksgiving sleeves. So I'm pretty happy about the scorpion tail there. Anyway, we'll leave it at that and come back to this because this is what you guys really care about. But that's what we got planned today, and then we'll go play some Mythic matches in best of 1 and best of 3. So quickly, as always, I love running through this so you guys can get a holistic view of the deck because I think it's very important in terms of as we walk card by card to get an understanding of how it fits into the overall kind of deck scheme that we got going on. So first off, we got Roost of the Drakes. We already talked about this, but the other piece about it is whenever we cast a kick spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So that's a big one. Then we have Into the Royal. So this is a nice spell. First, we can bounce, return target non-land permanent to an owner's hand. So this is, again, any permanent. It's not just creature. And then if we kick it, we get to draw a card. So it gives us some nice card advantage. We have Inscription of Abundance here. So another instant. So this was also an instant spell. This is another one here for 2, or we can pay 3. We get multiple options. So I really like these ones that gives us a lot of opportunities. We saw some of these in M21, but here, this one, we get a put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player gains X life, or X is the greatest power among creatures they control, or target creature we control fights target creature we don't control. So lots of options there. And then if it's kicked, we can choose any number. So we can go all 3, or if we do the 1 and don't kick it, we can activate one of those items. Then we have Vine Gecko. So Vine Gecko here is pretty cool. It's an elemental lizard. The first kick spell we cast each turn costs 1 less, so we get some nice cost reduction there with this creature. And then whenever we kick a cast spell, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on Vine Gecko. We got Maraleaf Pixie. So this is a flying 2/2, which is pretty powerful actually, 2/2 on a 2-drop, and a ramper in the air, which is very nice. This one hails from Throne of Eldraine. Then we have Verizol, the Split Current. So this is a legendary creature that's a serpent. This creature enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each mana spent to cast it. Whenever we cast a kick spell, we may remove up to two +1/+1 counters from this creature. If we do, we get a copy of that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy, and then a copy of a permanent spell becomes a token as well. So pretty interesting, very, very powerful there, particularly when you activate it with things like Inscription of Abundance and the other inscription that we got here. We have Jace, Mirror Mage. So this is our Planeswalker. It's also a kicker Planeswalker. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, we get to create a token that's a copy of Jace, Mirror Mage, except it's a non-legendary and it's starring loyalty as one, so keep that in mind. We get a +1 where we can scry 2, so great. If we can kick, you can be going through 4 cards per turn, which is really, really powerful in terms of figuring out what you need in response to your opponents, or to be on the attack. And then for 0, we can draw a card, reveal it, and then remove a number of loyalty counters equal to the card's mana cost from Jace, Mirror Mage. So this works really well when you're on the mirror, because you can pump this one, and then on the other one you can use the 0 and pull. They both play really, really well into each other. Very, very powerful Planeswalker that we actually don't see a lot right now in Standard, which is kind of interesting because I really, really like this guy. Then we have Skyclave Relic. So this is indestructible. It's kicker for 3. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, we create 2 tapped tokens that are copies of Sky Relic, and then add 1 mana of any color for the tap here. Very powerful again, huge ramp. Interesting enough, we don't see this, in my opinion, a whole lot again in a lot of the Standard meta, but a very, very powerful 3-drop nonetheless. Then we have Inscription of Insight. So as I talked about, here's another one that we can use. This one's got a much larger kicker cost, so 4 on 4, so 8 total. Here we can choose 1 if the spell is kicked, otherwise choose any number instead. We get to return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands, so this can be our creature as well. We can scry 2 and draw 2 cards, and then target player creates an XX blue illusion creature token, where X is the number of cards in their hand. So this pairs really, really well, where we can then draw the 2 cards, get the creature as well. So lots of good things here. Vastwood Surge. So here again, a kicker. We get to search a library for 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle our library, and then if it was kicked, we get to add 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature that we control. Here's a great finisher. We got Cragplate Baloth. So this creature's got hexproof and haste. Its kicker's 3. The spell can't be countered, and if it was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. So very, very powerful. Going to catch a lot of people off. We get a 10/10 with trample. 10/10 without trample, but lots of damage there. And then here's our lands. We got our favorite Crawling Barrens. The other one I want to call it here is Throne of Makindi. So this is a new one. We can tap it for no color or colorless land, or pay 1 and tap and put a charge counter on the throne. And then we can tap it and remove a charge counter, and then add 2 mana of any one color to spend this ability to cast a kicked spell. So lots of things going on. We are running 24 lands, a little spendy for best of 1. Works well in best of 3. This deck, I think, is primarily a best of 3 deck. The other things that I would potentially include here is just with Inscription of Insight. You could play some of the modal lands as well. I think that could give you a good advantage here with some of these things. But as you guys know, I like to take these decks and play them as they are, but at least make some suggestions for those of you that look to optimize or per your style of play. So that's the main board. We're going to walk into the sideboard here. So first off, we got Tormod's Crypt. So we can tap this, sacrifice Tormod's, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. So what we're going to use this one against, we're going to use this against Lurrus decks. We'll use this against Rogues decks. We'll use this against mid-range decks, big red, mono red if they're running a ability like Phoenix or something like that. Anyone that's self-milling as well. Lots of good options for this one, so keep that in mind. A lot of mid-range decks are going to utilize that as well, and that's where you could play this one. Next, we got Bubble Snare. So this is a 1-drop enchantment or enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, tap enchant creature. Otherwise, enchant creature doesn't untap during controller's untap step. So very powerful that you don't have to kick this. We'll keep them tapped anyway and locked down. That artwork's great. I love that. But where are we going to play this? We're going to play this against aggro decks or creature-heavy decks, so things like mono red, Gruul decks, anything that's one of the Knights decks that we've run into, Boros Knights. Also, the Selesnya type decks are good. Adventure decks are decent for this as well at times, as long as it's kind of not the ramp adventure one. But really, really fast creature-based decks. Next, we have Negate. So here we get a counter target non-creature spell. Anything that's running things like Ugin, so mono red control, mono black control. Also anything like Rogues decks, this is good. Direct kill spell decks like Dimmer control. You're going to run this one. We just did that one. You guys should go check that out with Yorion. Also great against the Doom decks. So this is Yorion Esper. This is Yorion Orzhov. This is Yorion Mardu as well. So any place where you can optimize against non-creature decks, these are primarily going to be mid-range to late game decks that you're going to be playing against. Marasa Sproutling here. So this is a plant elemental. It's got a kicker for 2, and when it enters, and if it was kicked, we can return target card with the kicker ability from our graveyard to our hand. So this is really, really good in terms of longer game matches, so definitely mid-range to late game I would play this. It's also good against things like the Crocs of mid-range decks are making you discard cards. You can pull it back. It's not bad in the rogue decks as well, so you can absolutely pull things back. It's going to give you more options, so that's a good one to think about. Any time that you might be losing cards in your graveyard or kind of late game, or losing cards in your graveyard or late game, this one's a good one to have, like I talked about. Now, we got Kogla the Titan Ape here as well. So this is the one card, one of the cards that doesn't really, is a creature that doesn't have kicker. So where would we play this? Well, one, when we need to take things off the board, so things like mono green Stompy, mono green mono green food decks as well. You could play this against food. You could play these against food. This against food as well. Sorry, I should have said that. Sometimes I remember some of these other decks. There's just so many. You guys should check out the tier list. There's like 40 plus I got in there. Anyway, I would also play this against enchantment decks. We also have the ability to return target human we control to give this guy indestructible. We don't have any humans here, so that's not going to work out well. But you could get this guy on the board, and like I said, this is really, really good against late game decks, Yorion decks as well. And then again, even like a Gruul aggro deck where you can fight, take things off. This will also take out, because it destroys artifacts, Cleave and mono red. It will also kill things like Annex and mono red. It will take out Great Henge. Lots of things to remember. Next, we got Craig Plate Baloth. So we already talked about this one. Getting an extra guy at the top end is going to be good. I would run this against mid-range or late-game decks because it's going to be pretty important. Things like Ugin. Ugin's going to have a hard time. Could still down 7 and hit this guy. But you're most likely going to play this anyway on your turn and have haste. So there's not going to be a whole lot that they're going to be able to do. It gives you a nice option, another closer. Mid-range, it works well as well. Then we got Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So I like this, again, mid-range to late game decks. If you wanted to against aggro, you could always pop one of these guys in there on the high end too. Same with Craig Plate. It's just you're going to lose you're going to lose the early game potential because you're going to want to optimize it based off some of the other cards that we talked about, but that's always a thought. Mid-range, late game, not a bad spot to play these. So again, things like mono red control, mono black control. I would even consider playing this potentially against a enchantment deck with Yorion, so the Doom decks. Same thing with Ugin. You're going to want to play these absolutely against the Yorion decks. The ability to take off all the enchantments and exile them is going to be very, very powerful for you. So keep that in mind. You just want to make sure you have something else on the board when you play this, so that they don't drop the Doom, and then you gotta get rid of Ugin, unfortunately. So those are all great spots for these cards. So next, we're going to talk about how to sideboard, because it's pretty important. We'll talk about the aggro matchup, we'll talk about the mid-range matchup, and then we'll talk about the late game matchup. So first, aggro, like we talked about, I'd run Bubble Snare. I may even consider Mythras, to be honest, because a 3/3/3 drop is going to be pretty important. And then, like I said, if you want to pop something here at the top end, you could always go in Ugin. What would I remove? I would look to honestly get rid of things like Vastwood Surge here. You're not going to need that in the early games, and 8s giving you a 2/2 is going to be too expensive, so that's an easy spot. I'm always happy to drop maybe 2 lands on this and get real aggressive there too. So those are all good spots that you could do that. I would pop in the Bubble Snares, Marasa. So let's say we get 6, 3 plus 2 here is 5. You could always get rid of the Skyclave Relics too. They're nice to bounce, but if you get the 2/2 flyer guy here, that one's going to be better. You're also not going to be kicking for 6 early game. So that's kind of how I would position myself. You're still going to want Roost of the Drakes. All these other things at the 2-drop slot really help and will keep you on track and alive. So that's kind of the 2 major places I would look at, is these 2 to kind of switch things up. I would keep Inscription at the high end just because it does a lot of things. And at 4, it gives you a situation. At 8, it really gives you a situation. Next, on the mid-range, like we talked about, let's assume, and we already talked about some of the rogue stack stuff, so I'm not going to call those out separately, but you're probably going to run Negate. You might run Tormod's Crypt. You may want to run Marasa as well, and then you could consider Ugin. So this gives us 3, 5, 7, even a Craig Plate Ball Off potentially. So let's look to do 8. I would maybe then stick here. Again, I would probably remove Vastwood Surge if they're not running a lot of creatures. I would consider cutting maybe 1 of these, and maybe even 3 of these, because you're not going to have to fight anymore necessarily. So you could get rid of 3 there, and then you could drop 3 there, and that gives you 6. And then if you're not going to play anything else, I would still keep this. You can keep this on the ramp side, even if you don't need to kick it. And then I would probably be good with everything else. So that's a great way to look at that. So these are things like Selesnya. These are things like Rakdos, can be Gruul at times. And Sultai mid-range is one that we've done as well. So lots of good things there to kind of think about. And then last, when we talk about late game or end game, or not end game, but late game, you're going to have things like Yorion decks. These are generally going to be the Doom controlled type decks right now, whether it's Esper, Orzhov, or Mordu. How would I play that? I would run Tormod's Crypt if they are Esper. If not, then you don't need to run that. You're not going to run Bubble Snare. You'll definitely run Negate. I may consider running Marasa. Late game, Kogla is probably going to be in there, and some of these higher end things. So that's 5, 7, 9. So let's look at maybe doing 8. Again, late game, you're actually going to be okay on Vastwood Surge. You might be okay on Skyclave Relic. Royal's still good. Rooster Drakes is still good. I would maybe get rid of Verisol, actually. Even though the remove 2 and the copy spell's nice, that could be one. Vine Gecko might not be bad either. But again, this is really about reducing the kick cost spell. It's good to have the creature early game. You may actually look at Inscription of Abundance again, because you're not going to be fighting. So I would go 3 here. I like this still, and I actually like this over Vastwood Surge. So I may even get rid of Vastwood Surge again and go 6 between those two. And then if you want to get another 2 out of there, I would maybe drop 2 Verisols. The kicker's nice off this if you do get it to work. The other thing you can do is drop one of these and maybe drop one of those as well. The reduction in kicker is really helpful when it comes to some of these higher end things. So that does give you a little bit of advantage there, but you just got to kind of think about how you're going to pair that strategy. So that should give you a good idea in terms of how you would kind of move the board around there against some of those late game decks. And these could also be things like Ugin as well. And if you know it's going to be a ramp race, you may want to keep these, and you may want to keep these, and then dump these guys, and then maybe drop 1 or 2 of those to kind of get you to where you need to be. But I would always keep Roosted Drakes. I think it's a great option. All right, Planeswalkers. With that said, that is the main board. That is the sideboard. That is how to sideboard for the Simic Kicker deck from the Platinum to Mythic 6+ wins. Very excited, like I said, to play this. I think it's going to be pretty unique because of the Zendikar Rising piece, and we haven't seen many of these decks, so I think a lot of opponents might be like, hey, what the heck? And definitely in Mythic, I think it's going to throw a lot of people off, so I'm pretty excited to play this. So we're going to go play some best of 1, then we're going to play some best of 3 matches here, and let's hop into it. All right, standard rank. There's that top 100, top 8 Yorion Dimmer control deck, or Dimmer Yorion control deck that you guys should absolutely check out that we did for Thanksgiving. But today we're doing a Simic Kicker deck, so absolutely this is what we're going to play. So let's go ahead and make haste here, my friends. Now, quickly, as always, I just want to say thank you, Planeswalkers. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down below. Additionally, you can like me on Facebook. You can like the video if you enjoy it. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on content like this. Also for the daily drops. Other ways to support the channel down below in the description, like becoming a patron, or you can hop in the Discord channel. And then again, like I said, I'm running a special event for the new signups and launch of Patron as well, or becoming a patron. All right, Planeswalkers, let's see what we got. I actually like this. I'm going to keep this. Because I'm at 2 drops anyway, I can get both colors, so I'm good with this. We got Varun Kai here for our first match. We'll grab our green. Now I can either ramp, or I can go Vine, and I think I'm going to go Vine first. Ooh, that hurt. That hurt. So missing the land drop hurt us pretty badly. Control deck. Boros control deck. Let's see if we can get this for 2. Not a good start for us today with this deck. Good old Warriors deck. I'm gonna have to kick this. Actually, we'll wait till next turn. Oh man, and we have 24 lands. That is so brutal, my friends. So brutal. if we come back from this, oh man, oh, this is so bad, so bad. We have an incredible draw rate. We've gone 1, 2, 3, 4. That is horrible odds. Horrible odds. This is Magic at its finest, my friends, unfortunately. So good news is we're still alive. Bad news is we're definitely not going to get anywhere with this deck today on this match. Here's 3. Doesn't even matter. They drop that, we're dead. We don't really have a choice. Wow, all 3. Good for these guys. Good for Varunkai. Alright. We got mana screwed pretty royally there, which is upsetting, but we got to see some of the deck. So let's see if we can run better in our next Mythic match here with the deck. We'll at least see it in best of 3, but unfortunately we did not hit anything well in that matchup. We actually had a lot of decent stuff to play just fine. They did have answers, but the mana just really hurt us, and we absolutely need to get to at least 4 there. Alright, this is a little better for us. We will definitely... I will go first. We're going to Yorion deck. We'll keep 7. I might consider waiting on that and kicking it. Oh, we already got 1 Jace. Let's do it. We'll take 2. So, Dimir for now. I'm gonna play it. Esper it is. Ooh. Keep that. Go 0.
Protect as many people as possible.
So we got 6. So if we kick this, it should should... That did not work the way I was hoping. Let's try to...
What a refreshing thought.
That's fine. That will hurt us if we do that. We don't want to play that, do we? Or we can kick it next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not gonna get what we need. Oh, the situation, my friends. So let's do this. I'll kick it. Nah, no, I don't want to do that. I'll pass. Because this is still instant, so we can kick it at the end of our turn too, if we need. Get rid of Jace, unfortunately. So 1, 2, we can kick this. It's thin. There's the Yorion. We have no response right now, which is too bad. So we're waiting here. We're gonna hit him at the end of that. So this match is where Ugin would be helpful. Oh, end of turn. That did not That did not go the way that it should have. So I deserve to lose this match now because that was not what should have happened. Well, I'm gonna kick this. Then my lands. So that was, I don't know why. I probably have to go back and watch, but it should have flipped, and it did not. They actually have lethal here, so we're done. Right, so it did not work in best of one today. Had some hiccups, had some issues with lands. Then we got too many lands. So fell from 95 to 94% with this deck. So let's go ahead and play our best of 3 match here with the Simic Kicker deck. This should hopefully go a little bit better. Again, there was that Yorion Doom deck, or Yorion Dimmer Control deck that you guys should absolutely check out that we did yesterday for Thanksgiving. Quickly, as always, Planeswalkers, again, appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this and daily videos your way. Then again, other ways to support the channel down below in the description. You can hop in the Discord or you can become a patron. As I said, running a little promo, I guess we'll say, for just spinning it up. So we'll to get some sleeves. So anyway, let's go ahead and we will play first. I will keep this. Because we got a roost of drakes there. Now we got a top 1,000 player. So I will take a good final to our day here, if we can get this one here. So the question is, do we? I can do this. So here's some ramp, so we can kick roost next turn. All right, a double roost. So we get to kick. We'll kick again with Jace. So we got some decent stuff here. So it costs a double blue. So you got to keep that in mind. So we'll have to drop the Fable to go blue. We'll be able to kick Jace next turn, but getting a bunch of Drakes now and flooding the air is going to be very, very helpful for us. Uh-oh. And it looks like our friend might have disappeared. So we'll attack in. We'll see if they block. Oh, we'll see if they went away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The turkey got to him. The turkey got to our friend here. Dun dun dun. But anyway, so we'll roosted drakes here. We'll get 2 flyers, so we'll be at 3 unless they block, and then we'll kick Jace. and then we'll be in a really good spot with that too. So we'll see here. So we finally opened very, very nicely. Got to see Throne of McKindy here work out in our favor, so that's a great way to do the ramp. You take your turn 2, pay the extra. On turn 4, you're then kicking like we just did. So let's see here what's going to happen. We're in a good spot if they do come back, because now we're well ahead. Positioned well for our first match here. Looks like they're back now. I just saw them click on their Lovestruck Beast. So they just quit, so they're going to go right to their matchup. We are going to want to, in my opinion, play the Bubble Snares. Negate's a good question. Marasa I like. I don't mind those, and I don't mind that either. I'm going to drop Vastwood. And we need 6. I'm going to go 22 lands because I'm super aggressive. What else do we want to drop? Drop 1 Verizal. Maybe we drop one of these guys. He's not going to have counters anyway. Let's just go at 8 on the top end. And 1 if we need to pull back. There, we'll do that. Actually, we'll drop Marasa. We'll do that. Kogo's at 6, though. 7. I gotta think. Alright, we'll try this. Ugin will wipe the board if we get behind. Alright, it looks like they are back. Ready to go here. And now we get mana screwed. There we go, this is better. Keep 6, we'll drop that. So we will bubble snare that. And we'll go grab our second blue. Oh, there was another roost. Shoot. Super aggressive there. I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna click it. Look.
Can't resist knowledge is a skeleton key.
4. Oop. I'm gonna take that one first.
To square one.
Kick. So we can fight here. We can do 2/2. If this wasn't this one of those lands, we'd be okay. I'll do this. They're gonna have cleave though, which is too bad. So next turn, don't need that. If they play a land, we're dead. Actually, and if we kicked, no, if we kick Scoos, they're still okay. Target a creature you control. Shoot, what did it do? Cancel. Let's try that again. So put it 2/2. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, 2/2. Target player, and we don't control. We'll take Scoos. And we're dead either way. Oh, we gotta see some of the deck. Let's try this again in our third match. And hopefully we can turn it around here against this top Delta player. So let's think. Let us think. Marasa at 3. I think we go like this. I think we go there. I think we keep one of those. We grab those two. Let's drop one of those. I think that might be the better play. And we'll go from there. 6. This guy's not bad though either. I'm gonna drop one Skyclave, I think, too. Well, let's do that. Actually, let's drop a Jace. There we go. Okay, let's go from there. We did not hit it well in that match, so this will be pretty quick. You know, we could have went negates, but it's narrow against this deck. We'll play first. We got our bubble snare, we'll keep this. We got a roost, we'll keep it. So give us a land, that works. We'll take that. Well, can I kick anything? I can kick. We won't waste it yet. So Cleave can come out now. They're not going to have lethal though. I think we're going to have to block. So we can do a few things here. We'll have to bubble snare this guy. And then for 2. Oh, just not a good day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cleave, it's over. Yeah, that's what they're digging for. So 9 is dead. It's still 9. We're gonna lose both. So the question here is, what can we do? What can we do? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9. So if we pay 2, I wonder if we can do, so 4. So we got 9, so we can double up. So we do this, we pay 2. Now we double on this sucker. Alright, let's try this again. So we'll do this. We'll do 2, 2, 2. So 2 on him. Target player. Target creature we control. So if we remove 2, we'll add 2. We'll take this one. There we go. Take action. Here we go. 2. There. There. And here. Oh. Oh, we almost got it off. It wouldn't have mattered though. It would have been fight, so we would have lost our guy, and it wouldn't have really done much, unfortunately. So we're gonna say good game. We thought hopefully they'd time out, and we're not gonna waste people's time today. All right. So unfortunately, the deck did not perform up to stuff. We got crushed. It was not good in best of 1, not good in best of 3. did not have a good day, but very cool deck nonetheless. Simic Kicker it is. So let's go ahead and take a look at this thing again. Nice, fun, interesting deck. Little slow because of the kicker, but if you do get it going, lots of cool things. We almost had that pretty nifty combo there with Verizal. I did have a feeling that they were holding 2 up on the Crusher, but nonetheless, here we go again. This is what we got going on here with the deck. Lots of interesting things. Like I said, some of the modal lands maybe would have helped a little bit, but not too much. Here's what we got going on in the sideboard. Again, Planeswalkers, questions or comments, let me know down below. Happy to help. Hop in the Discord. Deck list is available for you down below in the description. And so are the links. And then lastly, Planeswalkers, again, just want to say thank you. Appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch as well to stay up to date on daily content like this. Unfortunately, the deck did not work out well. It was a slight bust for us today. Went backwards, but we'll make it up. So no worries. Planeswalkers, we'll see you again soon. Stay in tune and take care. Mythras out.